Hey, what's up? Jason here. It's time to continue on with our third-person shooter game. Right now, it's not really third-person. If you remember, it kind of is. The character moves along, but it's not really lined up with our character. Like, we're not following around, and I want more of a Gears of War style movement where the camera's kind of following and snapping behind, and we'll have a little reticle in the middle where we can shoot and blow things up. So let's just start building that out now. So I'm going to stop playing. The first thing we're going to have to do is make a relatively big change to the character controller. It's a small enough script that it won't take long, but we need to change it so that he's no longer moving in set directions based off of what way I press. But right now, if I push forward, he'll go forward. If I go left, he'll go left. Right, he'll go right. And it doesn't matter what direction he's facing. He always goes the same way in world space. So let's go into the script. We're going to delete out a little bit of the old code, change things around, and make it all work. Alright, so here's the script, and I've deleted everything after we generate the movement vector because, again, we want to change the way that this motion is handled. So let's go in now, and the first thing I want to do is, instead of setting the speed to the movement's, the movement's magnitude, we're just going to use the vertical instead. So this will be how fast we're going forward. You know, W will be forward, S will be backwards, and we're just going to adjust our speed based on that. So we're going to do something like animator dot set float speed. Remember, this is the name of our variable in the animation controller, and it is case sensitive. And we're just going to pass in vertical now instead of movement dot magnitude. Now, we always want to rotate our character. So what I'm going to do, instead of using the rotation stuff that you saw before, we're going to do transform dot rotate. And we're going to rotate around vector3.up. So just do vector3.up. So it's just going to go on the y-axis. And then the amount that we want to rotate is going to be the horizontal value. So this is -1, +1, depending on where I'm pushing on the controller right here. Or somewhere in between. If I get halfway in, it's going to be like 0.5. Then we want to multiply that by a turn speed variable that we already have here. And we're going to multiply that by time.delta time. So that way it's frame rate independent. The next thing we want to do is check to see if we should actually move. So to do that, we'll just go if vertical is not equal to 0. And here we can't do a greater than 0 because we want to also move on negative values. So that way we can allow our character to walk backwards. We don't have a backward walking animation in yet, but we'll get one in eventually. And then the speed will kind of link to it and make him move backwards nice and smooth. So to move him, all we need is the character controller dot simple move call. And we'll pass in transform.forward now. So the direction that we're going to move him isn't going to be that movement variable. It's going to be the forward direction. So we're turning him and then moving him forward. And we're going to multiply that by move speed. And then we're going to multiply that by time.delta time again. Oh, wait, no. We don't need time.delta time. This is in simple move. And we're going to multiply it by vertical. Sorry, not time.delta time. So the reason we do the vertical here is, again, if it's negative, we want them to go backwards. If it's forward, it's just going to be 1. It's not going to make a difference. So I think that's all we needed for that. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to jump back in here, hit play, and try to walk this guy around a little bit. Now remember, the camera's still not going to follow him in a third-person mode yet. So let's see. But let's see what it looks like. So if I turn right to rotate, you can see slowly rotating. The reason this is so slow is since we're changing the way that we're rotating, the variable is not really valid anymore at the value of 5. So let's turn it up to about 150. There we go. Now you can see him turning at a reasonable speed. And again, he's not animating yet. We can add that in later. Whoa, look at that movement though. The movement amount was insane. So let's see. It's because I pulled out time.delta time, we need to turn this move speed way down. So let's go to like 3 is too low, maybe 5. Still seems a little low. I'm going to go up to like 7.5. Let's try that. Backwards, again, no animation yet. Forward. Oh, that seems good. So 150 and 7.5 seem like reasonable values for now. And we'll adjust it as we keep playing through. So let's see. This was 7.5 and 150. All right, I'm going to save that. And now I want to get the camera actually following this guy around. So we've got the motion kind of hooked up, but we need it so that the camera stays behind him, follows him. Again, thinking more like a Guild of War style Gears of War. I said Guild of War. Gears of War style movement where you kind of have your character there, reticle, and you can blow stuff up. Right. So let's get that set up. So to do that, I'm going to go on to my virtual cam. Remember, this is from the Cine Machine. We created a virtual camera in the last video, and right now it's set up to look at his head. So it's aimed at his head. If I click on that, you'll see it's going to his head. But what I want to use now is the follow option. So for follow, I'm going to drop the actual, let's just drop the Toon Soldier demo base object in there. And you see the camera is down under the ground now. That's because we're looking at his feet and we're kind of clipping through the ground. What we want to do is just adjust the offset of the body here. So if you expand out this body area, we can grab the Y and just drag it up just a bit so that it's above ground and slightly above the character. I also want to pull it in a little bit with the Z value, so just shrink that down, and I think I'll pull down the Y a little bit, and let me pull that out just a tiny, and I think that seems right about where I want him. I think now I want to adjust the aim, and I'm going to adjust this so it's a bit over his head, because I don't want his head in the center of the screen. I want to kind of look at a little area just above the screen. And I'm going to see if I can offset this just a little bit so it's kind of above him and to the right. So that way, if the character's here, targeting reticle is right around there. That's my goal at least. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll leave that at 0. Okay, so let's hit play and see how that looks. And then we'll make a couple more adjustments and get this all kind of lined up right. So there we go. Now I turn and move. Camera follows. The center is still there. So right now the center is still a little bit, like you can see right now I'd be kind of offset, and I want to tighten this circle up just a little bit, but I think I'm going to put on a targeting reticle first and then go in and adjust that so we can really see what it's going to look like. So let's go find a targeting reticle and get that imported real quick. Alright, so I think I'm going to use this one right here that I found online. I just painted it white. And I'm going to drop this into an art folder. So just create a new folder, name it art. And I probably won't make subfolders under here. Right now I don't have enough stuff to need it. But eventually maybe if this grows, we'll subfolder it out and have a UI section or something. For now though, I just need to select this target texture and change it to a sprite. And hit apply. One thing that I do want to do though is scale this way down. Right now it's at 2048 by 2047. We're never going to be anywhere near that size, and having it import as a giant scale and then scaling it down in game is a good way to get nice jaggy edges that we don't want. So much easier and better to just set a max size that's right around the size that I'm going to use. No, slightly bigger, the next size up, and then just use that. So I've imported it at 128. And I'm going to go back over to my scene view and add an image. So let's go to game object UI and add an image. And then we'll assign that target picture right there. Now if I go to my game view, we should see got a little targeting reticle right there in the center of the screen. And I might want to scale that down a little. I think I'll leave it big for now. Maybe adjust it later. Get it to the right size. So we've got that there. Let's play real quick one more time. See what it looks like. Reticle is really just going to stay right at the middle of the screen right now. There we go, and you see it kind of like follows along. You know, we get a little bit of a delay. Just kind of what I want, but I want to tighten that up just a little bit more. And I'm going to hook up the controller and go through it with the controller too. So there we go. This is a much better way to play. So playing with the controller, and see I can kind of aim and target stuff. Now let's tighten this movement up just a little bit. And you can adjust this however you want in your game. If you want to have looser movement where it's slower to get there, you can. If you want to go tighter, you can too. So here I'm just going left and right, and I really want, what I want is this targeting reticle and this yellow dot to kind of line up, like the center of the screen where I'm looking. I want that to be there. So what I'm going to do is grab these bars here in play mode, pull them down, and I'm really going to tighten this up. Like, I think I want it super tight. I always want that reticle like right there at the center part where I'm aiming. And I should probably move that offset just a little bit too. Let's see, which one was it? Was it the X? Yeah. Going to move that up just a tiny bit more. Just like that. And then let's move. No, I think that's probably good like that. And then let's see, the tightness on these. seems okay. So if you want to adjust how quickly it goes over, you can just slide down and up these horizontal and vertical damping. If I slide it all the way to 0, you'll see that now I'm instantly tracked. There's no delay at all. That's too fast for me. 0.5 is a little too slow. I think maybe like a 0.2. So it's relatively snappy, but not instant, right? We still get a little bit of that delay. And we're not really having an up and down issue because I'm not allowing the player to aim up and down right now. Everything's just kind of forward. We would probably add in some up-down looking stuff later, so then we can adjust those values. Anyway, we've got that set up. I'm going to copy my virtual cam while I'm running, so don't stop playing. Copy that, so I've got all the values that I want. Stop playing, right-click, and paste the component values. And that did not seem to work right. Interesting. Let's set that horizontal damping back to 2. I don't know why that went back to 0.5. And then let's just pull these back in. Just like that. Nice and tight. And I'm going to save my scene. Alright, now I want to hook up the firing so that it's actually on that reticle. So that where I'm shooting is based on the reticle, not on the firing position of the gun or the direction the character's facing. So to do that, I'm going to open up the gun script again. And it's going to be just a minor change. What we're going to do here is, instead of using the ray from the fire point position and the fire point forward, we'll just get a ray from the main camera. So just do camera.main.screen point to ray. Oops. Let's see, to ray. Actually, let's use viewport point to ray. And we'll just pass in vector 3.1 times 0.5f. What we're doing here is getting a ray that's right in the center. The viewport goes from 0 to 1 on X and 0 to 1 on Y. So if we do vector 1 times 0.5, we're going to get a vector that's 0.5X, 0.5Y. We'll also get a Z, but the Z doesn't matter here. So we're going to do ray equals that, and then just get rid of that line. And now we have our ray coming from the center of the screen now instead of that fire point. And since we did that, oh wait, I think we are spawning the muzzle. I'm trying to remember if we're spawning the muzzle particle there. I don't think we were, right? No. So yeah, let's delete the fire point. We don't need it anymore. Clean up the code. Don't leave extra junk in there that you're not using. If you're afraid that you're gonna want to go back and look at it later, you should be using source control, check it in, and then you can always go back and look at your stuff later and keep your code clean at the same time. So now when I shoot, I should see my ray kind of go straight forward into the world. It's going to be a little bit hard to see, I think, though. Let's pull this up, game view and scene view side by side, and see if we can get a good look at that. So here's the character, and if I look over here, yeah, it's not going to be that easy to see the... Oh, we have an error. What's the problem? Let's take a look. Oh, I see what it is. So right now we're not actually finding the main camera, I think. I think the main camera is null, which just means that this camera here, where's my camera? Where are you, little camera? Let's go to the camera. Oh, it's under the scene. So this camera is not tagged as the main camera. So if we set that as main camera, there we go. Error message should disappear, and I should be able to shoot. Okay, so I'm able to shoot. We're still not seeing the ray though, so let's get that fixed up. Oh, yep, we're not seeing the ray because debug.drawArray was commented out. So what I'm gonna do is cut that, and I'm gonna move it down below this ray here, and I'm just gonna replace fire point with ray in both cases. So it's gonna be ray.origin and ray.direction, just like that. So now we'll get a ray kind of coming right out of the camera showing exactly where I'm shooting. Well, once it finishes recompiling. There we go. There's a little spinner there. I'll bring that right in so you can see it spinning. As soon as that finishes, we should be able to click and shoot. There we go. And now you see the ray coming off the camera. So the ray is going right to this thing. And like if I aim it at this guy, and let's see, find him right there. If I click, you should see the line kind of go right into his feet. Let's move a little bit closer. There we go. Now it's going right through the center of his, or right through part of his body. And actually, I think I want to move that ray up just a tiny bit, maybe. Yeah, we might move that up just a little bit. I think it's slightly offset from where the reticle is showing. Oh, and I see the reason for that. Right here we have a little bit of a position offset on my image. If I just zero that back out, now the ray should just line up fine. So I think since we're already working on this character's movement, what I'd like to do next is just get in some more animations for turning and maybe walking backward. And to do that, I'm going to jump over to Mixamo.com. They have this nice free giant collection of animations and some characters. And once I'm logged in, I just need to hit upload character, and I'm going to drop in my Toon Soldier guy. I'm just going to drag him and drop him right onto here. And there we go. He should pull up. And then I'll be able to apply some animations, download those animations, and just drop them right into the game. And assuming everything goes well, it'll be a quick and painless process. And this works great for characters that are already humanoids and that are rigged right. Sometimes they're not, and it's a little bit of a pain, but a lot of times it works out really, really simple. So there we go. I've got the character in here, and I want to find some animations for him. I think I'll just search for Soldier and see what they've got here. So there are probably some packs. Let's just search for Soldier pack. Then I can just download a big chunk of animations and use the ones that I care about. Maybe there isn't a big pack here. Okay, well, let's see. Let's do a Soldier turn. Because I really want a guy with the rifle there doing the turn, not just let's see, what do we want here? Maybe the rifle turn. So I'm going to take that one and see, would that work? I think that would work as a turn. Let's see, what does this one look like? Just kind of curious. Yeah, that's not right at all. So it's good to preview these things and kind of see how it's going to look. Turning right 90 degrees. I'm not doing a full 90-degree turn here. So I think this one's probably good. And if you look at it, when you check the mirror box, you see that we can also have him turn the other way. But when he turns the other way, that gun kind of got rotated weird, so maybe I'll take a right and a left turn. Let's see, what other turns can we find? Oh, that's too big of a turn. Sorry, I know it's lots of excitement here. Ooh, actually, yeah, let's get this, let's take the Pro Rifle Pack. It's got 49 animations in it. And we'll just download that. Now, when you hit download, you want to make sure that you switch it to FBX for Unity. And then hit the download button, and you'll get a, I think it's going to be a nice big zip with 49 animations in it. Should be perfect for what we need here. I'll be able to find the ones that I want, try them out in game, and then, throw away the ones that I don't care about. Or just leave them in there because it's not that big a deal. So I'm just going to save this pack into my animation folder for now, and then we'll jump back over to Unity, pull that thing apart, and start hooking this guy up. So let's hit Show in Explorer. I need to just extract this zip file. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Just being impatient. All right, so let's extract it. So I use 7-zip. I think you could use whatever you like. It's built-in extraction right in Windows. There we go, and we've got a big folder full of different animations. All right, let's try hooking these up. All right, I've got my folder here full of these animations, and they're not going to work right off the bat. So if I select one and hit play, I've dropped my Toon Soldier in there. You see it doesn't actually play. What we need to do is go to the Rig tab, and we need to change this animation type from generic to humanoid, and we also need to set the avatar to match the character that we're using. So to do this, since we have 49 of them, I'm going to select all with Control A, and then switch the animation type of all of them at once. Make sure this is on copy from other avatar, search for an avatar, and I'm going to search for my soldier, that guy right there, Toon Soldier Demo Avatar, and then hit apply. Now this will just update all 49 of these, and I won't have to go in and manually do them one at a time. Always batch select and batch update if you can. Alright, so now if I select one of these, go to the animation tab, and hit play, you should see the animation playing and kind of working on the character. That is perfect. So let's go into our animator now. And let's see, do we have a walk backward? I assume we do. Let's see, walk backward right there. Let's see, let's hit play on that. Okay, perfect. So let's add that in first. That's a nice simple one to drop in. So I've gone into our blend tree. Remember, if you go to the base layer, we just have a motion blend tree. I'm going to double click on that and then select the blend tree right here. And we need to add one more motion. So I'm going to add another motion field. And the motion for this is going to be that walk backward. So I'll expand this out, drop the animation right onto there. Right now it's named Mixamo. I'm going to rename that. So I'll select this. Let's just name this walk backward. I just want good names in there so I can see what everything is and have it be nice and clean. All right, so we've got walk backward in here. The threshold for walk backward right now is 1. That is definitely not what we want. We want this to be -1, right? What we want to do is change this over so this goes up here, and then if our walk value or our input, our speed is negative, we want to use walk backward. If it's 0, we want to kind of sit at this idle, and if it's 1, we want to walk forward. So what we want to do is uncheck this automate threshold checkbox. Then I can just put in the numbers. So just go -1, 0, and 1. So now if we play the animation here, right? So we hit play. As I adjust the speed, you'll see like when I go forward, he's running forward, as I go positive. And if I go negative, he starts to walk backward. He walks backward a little fast. I might slow that down later, but I think we can just leave it fast for now. Okay, so let's try that out and see how it looks in game. Right, I hit play. If I didn't miss anything, I think it's just gonna work, right? So we'll be able to walk forward, and we can walk backward. Is he animating? That's kind of hard to see from that view. Where's my character? There we go. Let's run him forward, walk him backward. Okay, so he is not animating. Oh, and we have an error. Oh, what is this? Error in gunfire. Oh, let's look at that real quick. Oh, I didn't save the scene when I changed the camera to the main. So let me do that real quick before I forget again. So change that over to main camera, save. Now again, this main camera call is actually really slow, and we shouldn't really be doing it in our update. We should pull this out, cache it, and just have a single reference to the camera. But for now, I'm just leaving it because performance is the last thing on my mind this early in the game. All right, so let's see. Why was he not animating backward? Let's take a look. So we'll open up the animator, hit play again, and we're just gonna watch the character in here. So I'm gonna select him, and let's see what his values are. So you see his speed goes up. If I go negative, his speed goes down, but he's not, is he going into walk backward? He is going into walk backward. He's not actually playing a walk backward animation. So let's see what's going on. All right, so the problem here is actually on the walk backward animation. If we take a look at it, you see that it's not set to loop. And this happens a lot when you download animations from Mixamo. They're not looping. So if we look at what it's doing, it's just basically just animating that one step backward every time we switch into the backward state, and it's not looping over there. So if we just check the loop time box and hit apply, we're almost good. But we do need to make one other change. And that change is on our animator. So if you select the Toon Soldier, actually I'm going to stop playing real quick. We want to uncheck apply root motion. Right now we're not using root motion for moving our character around. If we make the switch to do that, which is essentially making it so that the animations control the movement, it makes it really good for lining things up perfectly. You'll get really good footsteps and stuff. Slightly harder on performance, not a big deal when it's just our one character though. But if we make that switch, then we'll reapply that. But for now, since we're not using that, we need to uncheck that. Otherwise, we're going to get motion from the animation and motion from our backward movement, and they're going to kind of stack, and it's going to turn into a mess. So with that unchecked and the animation on loop, we should be able to walk forward and backward just fine. So here we go. I've got a view of the character, run over, walk backwards, and you can see he's walking back. Oh, his backward motion is really, really fast. So that's where root motion comes in nice, because that would be lined up exactly with how it's supposed to be. So we have a couple options here. If I want to slow down his backward movement, I can. We could just add in an extra control or an extra variable in there for backward movement speed. But we also probably want to adjust that animation. In fact, actually, I think I do want to slow him down just a little bit on the backwards. So let's do that first. I'm going to select the player, go into player movement, and let's add a backward move speed. Backward move speed. And I'm going to rename this one with F2 and name it forward move speed. And I think these variables were like what was it, 7.5 was the forward that I was using. And then for the backward, let's see, if I want to go to maybe 3, seems like a good number. And then I think turn speed, I'm up to like 150, so why don't I just update the default value there too. All right, so let's see, in our movement now, where is it? Simple move right here. Now what we want to do is, instead of just multiplying by forward move speed, we're going to multiply by either forward move speed or backward move speed, depending on what vertical is. So we'll just do float move speed to use equals, and then here we're going to do something a little bit different. You may or may not have seen this before. We're going to do vertical greater than 0 question mark forward speed, and then a colon backward move speed and semicolon. And I'm going to copy this move speed to use and replace the forward move speed reference down here. So what's this doing? This is getting us a movement speed that's either going to be the forward or the backward based on the result of this vertical. So what's actually happening is this is getting evaluated. This, if vertical is greater than 0, is evaluated. If this statement is true, we use the value right after the question mark. So if it's true, if it's vertical is greater than 0, we use this. If it's false, we're going to use this value that's after the colon. So we use the second one there. So if we go to 0 or less, we use the backward move speed. Remember, if we're at 0 though, we don't even get into here. So here we're just going forward or backward based off of that vertical value. And then we'll get a different speed out of it. So let's hit play. And it should move backward much slower, about half the speed, a little less than half the speed. And then I'll adjust the animation just a little bit to line up. Oh, that actually seems okay. I think if I move this up to like a 4, oops. That lines up pretty well. Now you can go in and adjust the animation speed too. So if I go to the blend tree, this value right here is the animation speed. So if I wanted to slow this down to like maybe 0.5, so he walks backward, animates backward half speed, I could do that, and then I would just need to turn down his movement speed even more. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. So keep him at half speed. I need to make him move much, much less. So let's drop this down to like a 2. Every time I click, I get that gunshot. Okay, there we go. Bam, now he's moving back slowly. He goes backward slow, forward fast. That's exactly what I wanted. Cool. Let's see. I think we've gotten kind of long here already. We're already at about a half-hour mark, and we can move around. We can shoot this thing. There we go. We killed it. I think in the next one, we'll start setting up some enemy characters. If you have requests for very specific things, though, please just drop them down in the comments. I went to the third-person character controller specifically because people really asked about it, and they want to get it, in this kind of movement. So if you have something that you'd like to see first before enemy characters and stuff, just let me know, and I might just reshuffle things around a little bit. All right, and again, if you like the videos, don't forget to share them with your friends and all that stuff. It really does help. It's building up subscribers, and it's nice. It makes me happy, keeps me excited and doing stuff. So thanks for that. Don't forget to share, like, all that fun stuff. And again, thanks for watching.